So welcome to another edition of How to Fix It Yourself with Dave and Dave. So today we're going to take a look at some of the items that might be an issue if you're having some ignition problems or the car's hesitating or has other things that just doesn't seem to be quite right. Often, not always, but often it'll be a vacuum problem. So you can see with this one how it's all cracked and corroded, and so it's a good possibility we're getting a leak there, which on this line goes back to the vacuum controller on one of the fuel lines. You can see on this one here that when we tried to pull it off, it just broke. So clearly that one was a good spot of leaking. So small little tiny vacuum leaks like this can cause significant problems with the performance of your car. So if you're seeing cracks like this on your car, it's pretty cheap. Just go out and buy yourself a bunch of vacuum hose and replace all of them. So we're going to be replacing this one here that we've already got off. We're replacing this one. We've got this one we're going to replace. We've got this one up here we're going to replace. We've got a bunch of them down in here we're going to replace. So just get yourself a big roll of hose and start replacing them. So I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. Now on many of the OEM parts, it'll be hard to do this on a aftermarket part. This is aftermarket hose. But you can see how they had this put into a larger diameter. Usually those are put in that way for two purposes. One is to keep the hose from kinking and causing a problem because it kinks like that. So they'll put an extra sleeve on there to prevent that, especially if you're going around a tight corner, which is what was going on right here. Or they'll put it on as partial in order to keep it from collapsing and getting down into some place where it might actually burn through the hose because it's touching engine parts or something. So those are the types of things to look for and to be prepared to deal with when you replace your vacuum hoses. So in taking these off, a lot of times people will tell you to get one of these tube removers where you can take and slide it down in there and kind of get at it and try and push it off of there. Frankly, if you're replacing the hose and you want to have this for other purposes, often they're used for fuel lines that are a little larger than these in places you can get to. But my feeling is that if you're going to be replacing them, don't mess around. Just take and cut the sucker and knock it off of there. That's the fastest, easiest way to go, and you're going to be replacing this hose anyway. And once you get it off of there, it becomes a whole lot easier to figure out the length of hose that you need. Now sometimes like this one where it's stuck on really hard, you might have to get a screwdriver in there to kind of pry it loose. But that's how you get those things off of there nice and easy. And then it's very simple effort to go ahead and measure that against the one you're going to replace it with. These hoses are going to be really tough to put on if you just try and dry shove it on there. So my recommendation is get some nice silicone grease and just put a little dab of silicone grease around the opening. You don't need to worry about getting it inside, but you don't need a whole lot. Just kind of get it on there, and that'll make it a whole lot easier to slide that hose on there. And if you get a good quality silicone grease, it's high temperature, so it's certainly not going to be a problem for the hoses that you're trying to use. So from there, you can just slide it on. Okay, so now we've got it up to where it was. Now I'll just take and slide that one on. And now we've replaced that hose, and now we'll have a good vacuum there. So that's basically what you want to do in order to do your hoses. Ones that obviously are cracked and that you want to do, but even some that look good, you might want to do those as well, as long as you're doing it, because it doesn't take that much more time. So hopefully this gives you an idea of how to do your vacuum system and replacing the hoses before you start doing a lot of expensive part replacements or a lot of expensive diagnostics. Just take a good look at your vacuum hoses, and if they look like they're bad, that might be contributing to whatever else is going on with your engine. So I hope you've had this has been educational. Please subscribe and click on the subscribe button down at the bottom, and click on the bell if you want to be notified as these videos come out. We appreciate your patronage, and you have a good day.